Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you. Thank you for being with us this evening for the first public reading of the new play, Best Good News Divide. By Doug Brendel. I'm Doug Brendel. We want to offer a word of warm and sincere thanks to Stage 284 for hosting this event here at the Hamilton Wenham Community House, Hamilton, Massachusetts, especially Executive Director Melissa Elmer and Artistic Director Katie Clark. Where is Katie? Thank you, Katie. Production Manager Craig Robertson. Craig's up there. Thank you, Craig. And all-around tech genius Brian Dozer, who today is managing our live stream and video recording. I also want to commend Christina Grundman, my wife, for the cool poster art. Thank you. And we salute Cynthia August for all the great promotional photographs. And thanks also to Ascension Church in Ipswich, Massachusetts, for providing rehearsal space for us as we prepared for today's staged reading. This event is free, but we are suggesting a donation of $1 or more from each person attending or watching online, which will go toward Stage 284's Scholarship Fund. This fund helps to ensure that any young person who wants to be involved in theater programs here at the Community House can do so regardless of their family's economic situation. And I bring you some good news. A friend of Stage 284 has issued a matching challenge for this event only. Any donations made today will be matched dollar for dollar up to a total of $100. So I encourage you to be as generous as possible when you're leaving here this evening. The donation box is right outside the door, because your gift will go twice as far, as your contribution is literally doubled. And if you're with us online, you can donate at communityhouse.org. The play runs about 75 minutes. There is no intermission. For those of us here in person, you see the exit signs. That's where you'll head in case of emergency. If your emergency is simply that you need to go to the bathroom, use that exit sign as your guide. Go out the building this way and come in the front door, please, because this door will be in use by actors. Here in the hall, please take a moment to join me right now in turning off your noisemaker. This is especially important this evening because this story in some ways happens within the silences. So the sound of the device will be distracting. And perhaps most important of all, in this performance, I will be playing the part of the telephone. And I don't want your telephone to upstage me. After the reading, the actors and I will be happy to take your questions and comments. We look forward to your feedback. Now I am delighted to introduce the two people who inspired the writing of this script and who will now present it to you in alphabetical order by last name, which also happens to be the order in which I first met them. Rebecca Axelrod and Barbara Bourgeois.
Is a theater stage, bare except for two chairs, ideally high stools like bar stools. It's not totally dark, it's just the dark of a theatrical stage where only the security lights are on. The main lights haven't been turned up yet. The play can be staged in practically any space where the action can begin in semi-darkness and the lights can then be turned on, or at least some place where we can imagine the darkness and the lights then being turned on. Jacqueline Sturgeon, a naturally elegant woman, perhaps approaching 80 years of age, enters with a large handbag or tote, something which was at one time fancy, but is now a bit worn. She's unfamiliar with the space and seems to have been unsure about the route she took to get here from outside the building. She looks around somewhat uneasily, perhaps with a bit more annoyance than fear. She squints up in the direction of the lights as if to see if someone is on the catwalk. She finally assures herself she's alone, pulls a mirror out of her bag, fixes her lipstick and works with her makeup, viewing herself with distinct disapproval. She's finished in a flash, gives herself a quick, dazzling but false smile in the mirror, and puts her gear away. She pulls a script out of her bag, starts trying to read it, but it's obviously too dark for her to see it well. Hearing someone entering, she stuffs the script back into her bag, not wanting to be caught cramming. Josephine Duquesne, a robust, unpretentious woman, you might even think old battle axe, roughly the same age as Sturgeon, enters from a different direction. Her bag is in fine condition, but it's unremarkable. She clearly knows her way around this place. Even in the semi-darkness, she heads confidently toward the offstage right area.
Okay, let's have some lights, huh?
She disappears off stage right. The stage lights come up suddenly. If it's an old facility, perhaps we hear the clunk of a big lever being pushed into position on an old-fashioned lighting board. Now Duquesne steps back into view and sees Sturgeon for the first time.
Oh, God.
Josephine, you don't have to call me God. I do believe God may be a woman, but...
Oh, please. I set them up and you knocked them down. That's still how it is.
Of all the things an actor says walking on stage, you can only come up with, oh, God.
How about, well, Jacqueline Sturgeon, or fancy meeting you here, look what the cat dragged in, or what the hell are you doing here? I like that one the best. What the hell are you doing here, Jackie?
I guess the same as you, auditioning, although I thought he would be here by now. You are here to audition, aren't you?
As opposed to what?
You're early.
It's 5 o'clock. He told me 5.
That son of a bitch. He told me to come early.
But you didn't?
I did, 5. He said, come at 5. God damn it.
Well, great. Who knows how many others will come traipsing in here thinking they're...
Thinking they're what?
Special, thinking they're special.
This smells. Harry, are you up there? I swear, if you're sitting up there in the dark in the catwalk watching us like fools down here.
You call him Harry?
I always call him Harry.
Nobody calls him Harry.
He was always Harry to me. Of course, he seems to have less hair now, at least on top.
When did you start calling him Harry?
Oh, back in the day.
That's no answer. Everything's back in the day.
You know, in photos, in the media, his hair does seem to come and go a bit. I wonder if his people Photoshop everything they can get their hands on. But they can't quite catch everything that goes out. So sometimes he's more Bruce Springsteen-ish, and sometimes more Bruce Willis-ish.
Harry? The world knows him as Harrison.
I knew him not as the world knoweth him.
Oh, you're still as full of shit as ever.
And you're still as sophisticated as ever.
It's called acting, Jackie.
Well, you know what Laurence Olivier told Dustin Hoffman? Act better.
Actually, that's not what he said.
Oh, here we go.
What he said was, why don't you just try acting?
Yes, well, also a good suggestion.
I'm not talking about my acting. I'm talking about your acting, the act This nose in the air stuff you've always done?
Oh, for crying out loud, I don't have my nose in the air.
No, I guess not all the time, not when you...
You have always felt this faux class conflict, because I'm from Connecticut.
Faux. See what I mean? Who says faux? You can't say false or, God forbid, fake.
Maybe people just learn the language coming from Connecticut.
I learned faux in the New Hampshire public schools. We also learned it's only pronounced correctly with your nose in the air.
How did you ever make it in New York?
You're not allowed to smoke in here.
Watch me.
A person can't smoke in here.
What if I set you on fire? I bet you'd smoke.
Oh, God!
I assure you I'm not. Haven't we already covered this ground? What makes you such an expert on the rules around here?
I worked here. You haven't worked here? I did scenario 7 here.
You did that scenario? Garrett's production? Small role, I guess.
Small-ish.
Josephine Duquesne. No, I didn't hear your name associated with it. Maybe that was for the best,
It wasn't such a bad production.
except to hear tell from people who saw it.
The problems are not the production.
What's that supposed to mean?
Even having bad problems doesn't mean you have a bad show.
Uh-huh.
Not necessarily. Not every show is perfect.
No show is perfect.
I was in a perfect production of Under Manfred.
Perfection is darling, dear.
I am absolutely not your darling.
Darling is relative.
Darling is faux.
I did Scenario 7, the Newhouse production in Toronto. I played Pauline.
Maybe that's what closed them down.
My Pauline was priceless.
Right? Nobody paid to see it.
Josephine Duquesne. How did you, of all people, get the elegant name?
The Carroll County hills are full of Duke Haynes, believe me. What's wrong with Jacqueline Sturgeon?
Sturgeon. It's a fish, for Pete's sake. A fish with a mustache.
It's a respectable old family name.
Fine, I'll trade you.
You could have taken a stage name.
My father was still paying the bills when I got my equity card.
So you think the Sturgeon name has held you back?
No one ever thinks twice about Duquesne.
No one thinking twice about you is hell for an actor.
I wonder how many cumulative hours I've wasted waiting for directors.
It's only a waste if you don't get the part.
I'd be years younger now if I hadn't spent so much time waiting for directors. Konopasek, maybe the worst. Auditions, rehearsals, performances, never once on time. I did Barrington Blues 4 times with that man.
Ah, Barrington. What role?
I played the daughter, then the neighbor, then the mother.
And then the old auntie.
No, I skipped right to Grandma's ghost. Once you start drooping, you droop faster and faster.
And here we are, droopier than ever.
And waiting for the damn director.
It should be a play, Waiting for Harry.
Only 3 characters. 2 by the look of things.
So he sent you a script? Did he talk to you about one of the roles?
Oh, let's not go there.
What do you mean, let's not go there? We can't be honest with each other?
Why start now?
It's wonderful.
Extraordinary.
We don't get these anymore, scripts like this, old lady parts.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, don't put it like that.
It's the truth.
You don't have to say old ladies.
Look at the calendar, Jackie.
I don't have to.
You don't want to. Between the calendar and the mirror.
Shut up.
Did you know scientists say your skin sloughs off every 28 days?
Oh, please. Shut up.
When were you born?
Shut up.
Keeping it quiet doesn't make it any less true.
Shut up anyway. I'm not in denial. I'm not delusional. I see where we are. I used to say 40 is the new 20. Didn't you say that too? then it was 60 is the new 40. But the numbers don't hold up. 80 is not the new 60. 80 is not even the new 77. But you don't have to dwell on the problems. We can still contribute. We have a lifetime of experience. We offer expertise. We offer value.
Never mind. I know what year. We were born the same year. I remember that. But when's your birthday?
August 10th. You don't remember that?
I must have put it out of my mind. Can't imagine why.
You always threw us a party together.
Well, our birthdays were close. July 13th to August 10th. We saved money by just having one party.
Money.
Well, some of us had to worry about money back then.
Back then.
Things change. Seasons come and go.
Yes. Happy birthday to us. Happy
Stop
birthday
it.
to us. Now who's shutting who up? Happy birthday, Jackie and Josie.
I'm not your Josie.
Happy birthday to us. But I'd go back if I could.
Oh, you're kidding. Go back in time for all that stress, all those zigzags?
I'd go back for the money.
Ha!
I don't know what you're thinking of.
Oh, ha! Wasn't clear enough? Like you need more money.
I need this show.
You need the...
No, thank you very much. I need the paycheck.
What the hell?
You think I'm auditioning for my health?
For your mental health or sickness? Take your pick. You need.
You're so ignorant and so cocksure.
When haven't you needed to be on stage just because you needed to be on stage?
Since Perch Ave, bitch.
Perch Avenue? The theater? Perch Avenue Theater?
It all went in and it all went out.
What?
The money. My money, Roger's money, everything.
I heard it closed down.
Well, you heard right. That huge thud you heard? That was the sound of a bank account collapsing.
Well, I'm sorry, of course.
Of course.
I heard Perch Ave closed. But that was a long time ago, wasn't it? 10 years or something?
13 years. 4 months, 6 days since the bankruptcy.
So,
So for 13 years, I've been auditioning for something other than my mental health.
I had no idea.
The very definition of ignorance. I rest my case.
I don't know what to say.
Thank heaven.
But so few parts.
Tell me about it.
Fewer and fewer.
They're all coming-of-age shows now. Teenagers, young brides. There are hardly even any middle-aged sisters-in-law anymore. Not that I could play middle-aged anyway.
This one is so good, though.
Which one?
Which one do you think?
Well, there's only one. I mean, there are two women. But there's only one that's worth it.
Did he talk to you about Constance?
Didn't he talk to you about Martha?
Martha? Of course not.
He talked to you about reading for Constance?
I didn't say that.
Who did he talk to you about reading for?
Actually, it's whom. Whom did he talk to you about?
Who cares?
Hampshire Public Schools.
Oh, you always did that to me. You're still doing it, correcting people's grammar? How do you live with yourself?
I tried to be sophisticated.
Seriously, are you here to read for Constance?
Of course I'm here to read for Constance.
He has us both here to read for Constance.
I don't know what he's thinking.
So he didn't talk to you either?
Didn't he talk to you? That bastard has us both here to see which old lady gets which old lady part.
Oh, please.
After all these years, the three of us are still...
No, the three of us are not still.
You don't even know what I was going to say.
Well, whatever we were, we're not that anymore.
That. Now that is a true statement. Jeez, I was so cute back then.
That, I confess, is also true. You were cute.
I could still see myself in there, just that nobody else can.
I could understand Harry going for you back then. Honestly, your cuteness.
Well, he certainly kept it enough of a secret. 3 summers in London.
What an ingrate. You were at the festival with him every year.
I never left the hotel.
I'm sure you're exaggerating.
He was the big shot director, cameras flashing. I was invisible.
Young and foolish.
Don't defend your Harry to
He's
me.
not my Harry.
Well, he certainly turned out to be.
You had your time with him. Seasons come and go. Someone said that once.
Yeah, you came and he went.
It's amazing how enraged you are about him handing you off.
It wasn't exactly a handoff. I wasn't finished with him when he took up with you.
You hadn't started with him when he took up with me.
What's that supposed to mean?
You didn't know?
Didn't know what?
I went to Silverthorne for Harry.
You knew him before?
Only in the biblical sense.
Smart ass.
You didn't know?
You never told me.
You never asked me.
I never knew enough to ask.
The very definition of ignorance.
All those years, you and I, you never...
You have my permission to finish any of these sentences. New Hampshire Public Schools.
You never said a word to me.
It wasn't exactly a topic of conversation back then, was it? You and I were occupied with other priorities. I guess I always assumed you knew, but...
Well, by the time I got to Silverthorne, you were so far ahead of me.
Yes, I always was a fast learner.
Well, you were fast.
You can't mean I was ahead of you age-wise, because you're older.
Oh, cut the bull. July 13th to August 10th. What is that?
You used to know this by heart.
17, 18, and 10. 28 days older. Bullshit.
By the time I was born, your skin had sloughed totally off.
Duquesne raises her water bottle as if to strike Sturgeon with it. Sturgeon flinches and leans away reflexively. Duquesne lowers the bottle, and Sturgeon relaxes.
I was crazy.
Yes, you were.
Crazy to flinch. I knew you wouldn't do it.
Duquesne looks at her a moment, then suddenly raises her water bottle again. This time, Sturgeon doesn't flinch.
I know you too well.
You don't know me at all. Too many times, years since those times.
I can't believe we're still arguing about something that happened in grad school. It was the Dark Ages.
Well, it was dark, and grad school wasn't where it started, and you know it.
Harry is not worth all this anxiety. We should stand together. We shouldn't kill each other for this role.
I wasn't going to kill you, but I imagine I could break your leg with this chair.
What a pleasant, reasonable person you've always been.
There's no broken leg in this show.
There's no raving maniac either.
You'd blame me for your leg, of course, trying to keep me from getting the part. But who would believe such a lie?
That wouldn't be a lie.
Liars always say that.
It's nice to learn you're still fantasizing about me.
Not still. Again, I just started back up recently. 10 minutes, maybe.
A little insecure, are we? A fair and square audition makes you nervous.
Do you know where all those dead skin cells go? Most of the dust in your home, into the air, most of the dust in your home is made up of dead skin cells.
There is no dust in my home.
Everything you see is dead.
How grotesque.
But it's always floating away, because what's alive is pushing its way to the surface.
All right already.
Desquamation, that's what it's called. The dead floats away, new life appears, which is why you and I can't get cast anymore.
Desquamation?
Yes, D-E-S, I think it's Q-U. St. Jean, how do you spell desquamation?
St. Jean?
Yes, I programmed my phone to answer to St. Jean, Saint Jean Jougan. She was French, patron saint of the elderly. She devoted her life to helping abandoned elderly women.
You are grim.
Yes, D-E-S-Q-U-A-M-A-T-I-O-N, desquamation.
Thank you for that charming tidbit.
You're welcome for that, but don't call me Charming Tidbit. I hate it when you call me Charming Tidbit.
Oh, stop.
How could I have known you went to Silverthorne because of him?
Let it go, for heaven's sake. Look at everything that happened after that.
I didn't know him back at the academy. I was on the acting studio track. He taught psychology or something. I never had a class with him.
Well, is that my fault? He couldn't get a position in his field, so he left the academy to go to Silverthorne to take over their graduate theater program. So after the academy, I was on the musical theater track, you must remember that. I left for Silverthorne too. I went for Harry. And you just disappeared.
I didn't just disappear. I had other things to do.
Oh,
I didn't want to follow you. I had to go on to grad school because no one recognized my talent back then.
which talent was that, darling?
It's mine.
Your what?
My phone. Don't you know what a phone sounds like?
Don't you know to turn off your phone in a theater?
Damn telemarketers, I swear.
What did you do? Work for a while? A few years? I don't remember the timing. It's been a long time.
It wasn't a few years, it was a semester. One crappy little semester.
It was a fine little semester.
Oh, I remember Ron.
You mean wrongly, New Hampshire Public Schools. It's an adverb, add-ly. Tells how, wrongly.
I mean wrong. It's a noun. I remember the wrong. No need to tell how.
You hadn't even shown up at Silverthorne when Harry and I
I'm not
started.
talking about Silverthorne. And I'm not talking about Harrison.
That's an awfully old grudge, Josie.
Don't call me Josie.
It's awfully old anyway.
Well, so am I.
A simple kiss, and then,
And then the then. It could have been more than it was.
well, it wasn't. Till later. You don't seem to remember the good times.
You don't seem to remember reality.
I remember it, and it's messy. So live with it. Don't blame me for it.
I didn't know I was taking him from you.
And then I didn't know I was taking him from you. So we're even. Seasons come and seasons go, etc., etc. Oh, I do hate him.
Ooh, arthritis? Oh, me too.
That's not
What's
what I
not to
said.
hate?
I said I hate him.
Him?
Oh, for crying out loud, your hearing is shot.
Oh, go to hell.
Well, you heard that. Yes, Harry.
You hate him. Ha! You love him. You are famous for loving him.
I hate him every time the twinges.
You hate Harrison.
Can't believe I still feel it. The first time it twinged, just a little twinge. But he made me keep doing it. I told him it hurt. I wanted to stop, but he wouldn't. He made me keep doing it.
What show was that?
Not a show. The Tarrington. I pulled something, a tendon or something.
The Tarrington Hotel in London?
Yes. We were there every summer. Well, those 3 summers.
He took you to the Tarrington?
Actually, I took him. I had money then.
Damn, he took me to the Tarrington. I didn't have money then.
He took you to the Tarrington before or after?
It's hard to know, isn't it?
Look, he took you to the Carrington.
Yes,
That wasn't a yes-no question.
it wasn't a question at all.
Well, it wasn't an answer, that's for sure.
What, are you writing a memoir?
The Tarrington. It still hurts when I... Oh, never mind. We were young and he was stupid.
Maybe you both were.
I'll grant you that.
Bzzz. Duquesne looks at the phone, then glances around quickly, frowning. She jerks herself off the stool and nearly knocks it over.
Don't hurt yourself with that thing. You could break a leg or something.
I need to take this.
Don't worry. If Harry shows up, I'll keep him warm for you.
What'd they say?
Sturgeon waits only until Duquesne is out of view, then quickly pulls out her makeup mirror and fixes her makeup.
When will they decide?
Sturgeon puts the makeup stuff back into her bag, sees something else in there, something of guilty interest, looks around, decides to go for it. She brings out a shiny silver hip flask, glances off stage in Duquesne's direction, unscrews the cap, then pauses as we hear Duquesne's conversation continuing.
When is that? When are they going to
Sturgeon looks at the flask, decides against taking a swig, instead reaches into the bag and pulls out a small martini glass. She sets up a little bar on her stool with a small jar of olives, even toothpicks.
How is she with that?
Sturgeon stabs an olive, drops it into the glass, and pours a small drink.
Okay, let me know. I know you will. Thank you for calling. I love you too.
As Duquesne re-enters, Sturgeon momentarily considers hiding the bar setup, but quickly realizes it's not feasible, gives up the idea, and shrugs with a bit of self-disgust.
Well, I'm late to the party.
It's past 5 o'clock.
Sturgeon sets down her drink, reaches into her bag, and pulls out a matching glass.
I guess it was going to be a party. You and Harrison, old times.
Do you want a drink or not?
Duquesne tosses her water bottle over her shoulder casually. It clatters to the stage floor and rolls awkwardly away.
You always did that. Always made me laugh. And you were always quick to throw things over. Olive?
No thanks. They take up too much room from the gin.
I eat the olives only for their nutritional value.
Yes, that way it's a health drink.
Practically a smoothie. To your health, as long as you're here.
Well, thank you, Jackie. And to yours. Mental health included.
I wonder how many times I've stood on stage and commented on a martini. Not too dry. Can't get them dry enough. Whisper the word vermouth in the next room.
This one is dry enough.
Straight gin. It's the glass that makes it a martini.
It's cold.
Ice pack.
That's commitment.
Nothing worse than warm gin.
You'd really go back to the zigzags, even for the money?
Of course. Money is convenience. I deplore inconvenience.
But the zigzags. I hated the zigzags.
We were young. That's what young is, zigzags. Harry, me and Harry, you and Harry.
You skipped one zig.
That was different.
Yes, it was. I do remember the good times. You're a bitch to assume I don't.
You're a bitch to call me a bitch.
You called me a bitch. I heard you.
You deserved it,
Bitch.
bitch.
So yeah, you're right. Now we're even. Okay, we did have good times together. No harm in admitting they were good just because they ended badly. We laughed a lot.
That's what fools do.
We didn't know any better. We were just doing life. We had that darling little place on 64th.
It wasn't all that darling. Nice. Not darling. It had its charms.
Backing up on the Tennyson Hotel, so the sunlight could only reach us for a few hours.
In the summer, anyway. A few minutes in the winter.
Dark, 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 dark. Light, look, light. Dark, dark.
Like waiting for an avocado to ripen. Not yet. Not yet. Sorry, too late.
We laughed so much on 64th Street.
Our salad days.
That day we went to Della for tuna and sneaked in. Oh my gosh.
Honestly, I don't know. Already way too old for that kind of thing we were.
Our 30s, we were in our 30s. I would kill to be in my 30s again. God, more than half my life ago.
Why do they call them salad days?
They don't. Nobody says salad days anymore.
I do.
It's Shakespeare.
I knew you would know.
Thank you. Didn't you ever do Antony and Cleopatra?
No. Do I get 2 demerits?
Cleopatra regretting getting involved with Caesar? My salad days, when I was green in judgment, cold in blood.
There's no money in Shakespeare.
7 years of summer stock in Penobscot.
Summer stock.
After Harrison, after you, Shakespeare kept me alive.
Summer stock doesn't pay spit.
I didn't mean financially. I didn't have that problem.
You were always whining about money, sharing a birthday party.
Back then, but not after.
What? After when?
After you and Harrison, money wasn't an issue then.
What?
My uncle died.
You had a rich uncle. Isn't that a cliche?
Sometimes cliches really happen. I was broke. My parents died. My brother and sister both died. You were gone. Harrison was out. I had nobody. Isn't this a nice, sad story?
So far.
All I had was one uncle. He was one of those uncles who were younger than you know, my father's baby brother, the bonus child. Anyway, he didn't have anybody either. Then he died. 40 years old, dropped dead. Death runs in my family, I guess. My phone rings, and it's a lawyer.
Are you kidding? Right on time.
Ah. So the lawyer says, your Uncle Dick died.
Dick,
Well, Richard, of course, but he didn't go by Richard.
how
He was a
unfortunate.
Dick. And everything came to me. He didn't have anyone else to leave it to.
Luck be a lady tonight.
So after that,
After that, no worries about money. Good grief. Where did his money come from?
shit.
Politics? Or crime? He was mafia?
No, I mean shit. He had a waste management company.
There's money in that.
I don't know about now, but I guess back then, if you went to the bathroom, I mean anywhere other than your own home, anywhere in Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, or Nebraska. I think Nebraska was in there. Nebraska, I'm trying to remember.
It doesn't matter.
Well, anyway, if you went anywhere with portable toilets, he was making money on you.
That is bizarre. You inherited a paid toilet fortune.
Not pay toilets, free toilets. I had the same question when I met with the lawyer. If you have an event and you need porta potties, you pay someone to bring them out to you and set them up, and then when you don't need them anymore, they come back and take them away. It's big business.
It's revolting.
Would you rather be broke?
I was broke. I am broke.
And how's that working out for you, Jackie? You'd take the money, I did.
I think I'm going to look at you in a whole new light now.
It wasn't that great of a light before.
So, you don't really need this part.
You might say that. I don't need the work. You might say I don't need anything. But want? Yes. How often do you find something like this at my age, our age? Want this role? The want is killing me.
My, popular.
I'm expecting another call, and I'd call another one.
Some director, some show, some starring role to die for.
From my daughter.
Your daughter?
Yes, when you have a baby and it comes out a girl.
You have a daughter.
I have a daughter and 2 sons.
You had all the children. I had all the husbands.
Husbands? Plural. I heard about Roger.
Well, there was Charles before Roger.
Charles.
Charles Daskins, not a theater type. You wouldn't know him. He bored me. I divorced him. Then Roger. Then Pierre.
Pierre.
Pierre Laurent Dumont.
Oh, how elegant.
Le mariage only lasted 8 mois.
I hope you got a group discount on the divorces.
Oh, I didn't divorce Pierre. He died.
Oh, I'm embarrassed.
I'm glad.
Really? Wait. Glad he's dead or glad I'm embarrassed?
Both.
Husbands and babies. I guess we were both busy after.
We've had plenty of time to be busy since those salad days.
Seemed like I got every part I wanted back then. For so long. Even now, it just feels like it just zipped by. Even in my 50s, so many roles. I did The Parisian, I did Treacherously, Cry Me to Sleep, Phyllis and Pharaoh,
Cry me? Where?
Regional.
Regional where?
Oh, where? Chicago, Cincinnati, Nashville?
I did it West Coast, Seattle, Portland.
You played Tilly?
Of course.
When was this?
Oh, 100 years ago.
Great role.
Great role. I thought I would never have a better role. And then Weisbrod called me to do Hats Off and On, and Tilly suddenly seemed like nonsense. Off and On. Oh, I love that show so much. It was nothing like standing down center and singing lines drawn. I wonder where's the line drawn? This time I've gone over the falls in my life. I know I won't get that far. I'm not that good, but I might be in time. Who's kidding who? There's a man here, a man I threw out long ago. In my heart I know I still love that man. He's not that good, but he might be in time. It's one thing to wait for the chance, wait for the phone to ring. It's my turn to take what I want and give what I want to give. I wonder who keeps the books here and what they'll remember of me in my life. I know I want it all. I want it good, but at what price? I know. I wonder.
Camptown ladies, sing that song, doo-dah, doo-dah.
That's right, acting track. You don't sing, do you?
Oh, that's right, music track. You don't act, do you?
You have to admit, there's nothing more moving than a star turn in musical theater.
I admit no such thing.
All the passion of the role, but infused in the music, it's mesmerizing.
It's manipulative.
It's supposed to be manipulative. You manipulate the audience's emotions through the music.
If you don't have the music as a crutch, you move the audience through reality.
Reality.
Oh, but you don't seem to remember reality. Haven't we already covered this ground? To stand alone on a stage and command that audience. Nothing but you and the words. No fancy orchestra to cover for you.
Cover for you.
Did you ever play Sharon in Under the Canopy?
What's it to you?
That speech at the end of Act 2, that's the role of all time. Carried him myself, carried him so hard, carried him as far as I could. Couldn't carry him no more, laid him down, thought I'd died.
Another drink, anyone?
But I bent down, picked him up again, laid him over my shoulder. I said, no, I won't fall short. I won't give up. Not till Mama sees it and knows it.
Here's to Mama. Reckon Mama must be 150-year-old by now.
And so am I. I can't do Under the Canopy now. I can't do Secret Life of Harold, Standing Yellow. Gary wins when he wants to. What can I do now like this? But you want this one, this part. There's no music here to move your audience. Why don't you go find yourself an opera and do your Maria Callas somewhere else?
You don't need it. You said so yourself. So go find yourself a nice little Neil Simon play and get some therapy.
It'll be interesting to see what Harrison decides.
Yes, if and or when he ever gets here. Waiting for Harry. It's like waiting for Godot, except even less happens.
I wouldn't say that. We had martinis.
This is true. We had our first round of martinis.
First round.
Well, ever since I played Kansas City, City of Fountains,
Sturgeon reaches into her bag and produces a small bottle of gin.
I figure it's got to be Kansas City somewhere.
As Sturgeon pulls out the bottle, an old photograph slips out of her bag and flutters to the floor. Before Sturgeon can retrieve it, Duquesne grabs it.
You carry this around
No, of course not. I just came across it this morning.
and decided to carry it around a while.
I-
Decided to bring it to the
No,
audition. You're for Harrison, Harry.
I don't know why.
We all do great on what? It's the why we get screwed by.
You're such a philosopher.
New Hampshire Public Schools.
Put it back.
Duquesne returns the photo to Sturgeon.
So you really did think, with this audition, you and Harrison might
I just always think be prepared. Didn't you do Boy Scouts?
all the time.
Dear Josephine,
Dear was a long time ago.
I think we should drink to a long time ago.
To a long time ago, the good old days, back in the day, the olden days, the days of yore, once upon a time, that bygone
All
era.
right, that's enough.
To us, old as the hills.
Stop it.
Old school, old as dirt.
I was only trying to say something pleasant.
Days of yore. I was there for yore. It wasn't worth drinking to.
All right already.
I am sick of living on memory lane and singing Old Lang Syne.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Down those stairs in the corner.
Thank you. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Like acting.
Whatever you do, don't sing.
So that's it, Jordan? Finished with me? Open the fridge, move the eggs to get at the bear. Notice something in the back. A jar of something, something left over, long forgotten. What the hell is this? Oh shit, Mrs. Renfro's black bean salsa. Geez, how long has it been in there? Saw it in the grocery store, mouth-watering, reached up and took it. Brought it home, loved it. Put the rest of it in the fridge. Couldn't wait to come back to it. Then those fancy pickles went in there. Dijon mustard, green salsa. Mrs. Renfro's gets pushed a bit to the rear. Marinated artichoke hearts, ordinary red salsa, the cauliflower that wouldn't fit in the vegetable drawer. Mrs. Renfro was in there somewhere, but you can't see her anymore. You enjoyed her, thought you'd come back to her. Other stuff got in the way. You forgot her. Is that mold? Best if used by, what's the verdict, Jordan? Did you miss the cutoff? Best if used by last week, last month? Best if used by 1982? I'm not a moldy jar of leftover bean shit, Jordan. I'm not your wilted lettuce. I'm not lunch meat gone bad. I'm not old ibuprofen. I'm not expired. You see what you want to see. But I'm in here, Jordan, and I see from the inside out. I see how people look at me. Kids in their 20s, they look past me. I'm invisible. People in their 40s, it's that nervous glance like, oh, hell, I'm going to have to deal with this old fart. In their 60s, they think they have to humor me or take care of me. Loretta, how are you, sweetie? Can I get you anything? What, a walker? Denture glue, you think? An enema? Hello, Jordan. I'm in here. The fire's still blazing. It's not all memories, sweet memories from down on the farm. I'm here, right now. My heart beats, my brain snaps. I see something tasty and I lick my lips. You think it's over for me. Screw you. You may be over me, but I'm not. I'm not done with me. Best if used by today, damn it. Tonight, tomorrow morning, before we even get out of bed. Best if used. Use me or don't use me. Up to you. But either way, it's not best if. I'm still what I was before you ever opened that jar. Best! Good script.
Yes,
I could see you doing it.
I could see you doing it.
You just did.
Hal, you know how these things go. Who knows what Harry will be looking for? The director always has some idea. You never know what it is. He likes you or he doesn't like you. Doesn't have anything to do with talent. He wants somebody thinner, or taller, or somebody with a deeper voice, whatever,
Older,
wiser.
younger, and more foolish. What the devil is Harrison?
He was always late.
Except when he came too soon. This has to be my daughter. My granddaughter is having a baby.
Life goes on.
Jesus.
What's the problem?
I don't know. Something. They're deciding whether to do a C-section.
Nobody ever says cesarean anymore. I think it's far more elegant to say cesarean.
When you're screaming in the delivery room, elegant is not on the table.
I've often heard that opening a new show is like giving birth.
That is nonsense.
I'm happy not know.
Openings are all over the map. You can be nauseous with doubts, or you can be absolutely certain you're going to nail a winner.
And then the audience tells you otherwise.
Gloriana, we knew it was fabulous.
Oh, we were fabulous. Don't you sass me, Cynthia.
I'll sass you all I want, and you try and stop me.
I'll pull that gross gingham dress right off you, Cynthia.
And I'll mush your mug in the mud.
They're racing around like kids now.
You're a big fat phony freak. You're a big fat phony freaky frittata. You're a big fat phony freaky frittata face.
Awful script.
Oh, hilariously bad. Oh, we thought it was going to be such a hit.
Terrible script.
Oh, sometimes you love terrible things.
But then, Inspiration Station. Nauseous opening night.
Yeah, ghastly rehearsals, 10 weeks of hell. But then, so lovely. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do,
What a riot. That audience screamed.
They loved us.
We started out chorus girls and ended up rock stars.
There just ain't no teacher to be experienced. Come on. It just seems doggone complicated, learning common sense. Don't you remember it?
I remember it. I just don't know if my pelvis will pelve like that anymore.
I thought I had it buttoned down. I felt like painting up the town. But suddenly the engine coughed, the muffler died, the wheels came off, and you sure learned.
Wait. What was it?
A grapevine left, and then...
And there's the pelve.
And grapevine right. Come on. And you shall learn when you learn it the hard way. You learn it good when you learn it the hard way.
Both women are glowing with pleasure.
You have an
The dance gets a bit more complicated, but now they're both remembering it well, and their steps are identical.
But then you get out on a limb, and suddenly it's sink or swim, and you shall learn when you learn it the hard way. You learn it good when you learn it the hard way.
Oh, God.
Stop calling me that.
The hard way, the hard way, the hard way.
They finish the song side by side, take each other's hand, and take a bow. Both come up giggling. They don't let go of each other's hand. They look at each other with deep appreciation and then pull themselves together for a big hug. And when they pull back a bit, their faces still close, there's a significant pause as they consider, and then they kiss. It's the kiss of long ago lovers, not eager to start again lovers. It's tentative and tender and brief. Afterward, they look deeply into each other's eyes for a moment before pulling back.
Well, we seem to have gotten a little carried away.
What, again? Every 50 years we seem to have a fling.
Please, you're still cute, but you're too old for me.
That was how it all began, wasn't it?
Well, it was a different show, but yes, something like that.
It was something like that.
A lot like that.
When I was a kid, our church was against dancing.
You went to church?
Honey, I was at church 3 times a week.
There, I thought public school was the worst of it. Why were they against dancing?
Dancing leads to sex.
Well, we proved that, didn't we?
Disco to doing it, a straight line. Waltz, whoopee. Choreography, coitus. Foxtrot,
I get it.
good for you. Good for you.
Actually, however, just for the record, it was not a straight line with us. We zigzagged.
That's for damn sure.
No need to be tart.
Tart, how faux.
It's not faux. I mean,
Oh, this is a false faux. Okay.
stop changing the subject. We zigzag. That's my point.
And zigzags are plenty pointy.
Life isn't straight. Life is zigzags. That's how life is. That's how hearts are.
That's how some hearts are.
Oh, you're suggesting that you were such a faithful, constant.
I'm just saying some hearts are constant, sometimes.
Constant and sometimes are mutually exclusive. New Hampshire public schools.
When one heart is all in and the other heart looks away,
What? That's not even a complete sentence.
it hurts. I'm saying it hurts.
It can't still hurt.
Maybe not every moment. Maybe just when you remember it. Zigzags are sharp. They cut.
Cuts heal.
Prove it.
Maybe we are. Maybe we are just proving it now.
Or maybe it's bullshit. Maybe after so many slashes back and forth, you can't just kiss and make it better.
Let's blame Harry.
Well, it's convenient, and you deplore inconvenience.
Look, at the academy, we kissed.
You and Harrison, who are we talking about now? Whom? Pronouns are so confusing.
You and me. You and I? Which should it be?
It's an interjection without a verb, so it doesn't matter.
Fine. So there was that kiss,
It was more than a kiss.
but it didn't go anywhere.
I wouldn't say that.
Anyway, I left. For Harry. You're missing my point.
And you are missing mine.
It was 60 years ago, Josie.
I'm not your Josie.
You're not cooperating with my Harry blaming plan, Josephine. When he made it big, he took up with you.
And cheated with you.
I didn't know he was with you. Blame Harry, see? Not me. See how this works?
Very convenient.
But then you showed back up in the triangle.
A conveniently named show, by the way.
Whatever. You showed back up.
I thought it was you who showed back up.
I was still there.
I'm talking about my life.
I'm talking about Harry.
Okay, blame Harry for the sake of argument.
You know, Harry had a way of ending every phone conversation when I entered the room. It seemed casual, but he was hiding.
Hiding what?
I thought he was cheating.
If you thought he was cheating, why would you stay with him?
Why stay with a bad guy? Why are you and I here now if a man holds the keys and you need to get in? Men are pigs.
So I've heard.
I didn't leave Harry because of the cheating. I left Harry for you.
How do we blame Harry for that?
I blame Harry for luring you away.
Okay, I guess I should be all right with that. Yes, let's blame Harry.
Yes.
Harrison. It didn't take long for that to go bad.
Well, you were with him as long as I was.
1 year does not equal 1 year.
What is this? Some kind of new math from New Hampshire public schools?
No, it's old math, the math of aging. 3 years when you're young and slender and your boobs are firm is not the same as 3 years when he's watching your middle thicken and you're coloring your roots.
See? Blame Harry.
By the end of it, my face had sloughed off. What's the math? Every 28 days is 13 times a year. By your 40th birthday, your face is sloughed off 500 times or something.
So he threw you over. Plenty of blame.
He didn't throw me over.
The press, they said he threw you over.
Bull, no. I saw the look in his eye. I saw him checking out the girls. I didn't wait for him to throw me over. I walked out. But I kept fighting, auditioned my guts out. Met Terry, got married, had 3 kids quick before it was too late, bang, bang, bang. But I kept working. Even when Terry died, I kept going. You figure out ways to raise kids and keep working. But the field thins out. Sorry, this really needs someone younger. Sorry, frankly, gotta have someone a bit more. Sorry. My father used to say, slim pickings.
Yes, way too late to play the ingenue. Can't play the harried young mother anymore. No more alcoholic aunties. Miles and miles of scripts. Nothing for me.
Till now.
And who's behind this? Our dear Harry.
And who does he call?
Who?
He calls you and he calls me. Finally, he needs us, or at least one of us, someone our age. Is he embarrassed about the past? Is he ashamed? No, you're right. Blame Harry.
Yes, let's.
He's still using us, just in a new way.
We're old, but we're new. A new demographic.
You're still so smart, so clever.
And you're still so
Go ahead, say what you're thinking.
hot.
It was a pelving, wasn't it?
I mean, you still burn hot.
Translation, you still get pissed off.
It's part of what I loved. Who I loved.
Isn't it whom?
Whatever, whomever. No man should decide our lives for us.
This man seems to.
It's only a show, it's not life.
We audition ourselves to death.
We were good together, except for Harry.
This is true.
I'm vibrating.
So that's what you call it. Oh, a text from Harrison. This is Trina, Harrison's assistant. Please call.
Same message here. I don't know his number, for heaven's sake. Where is he?
You just tap call back, dope.
Oh, for God's sake.
Trina, this is Josephine. Kramer Sargent, what happened? Oh my God, I can't, do you want, are you sure? Because I could be there. Okay, thank you. Please keep me, yes, let us know. Yeah, yes, thank you. Okay, goodbye.
What the hell?
Harrison had a stroke.
God.
He's in the ICU at Kramer Sargent. There's no point in going down there, she says. No one can visit. They don't know when he'll get out. Or if.
If.
She sounded terrible.
After a long pause, Sturgeon moves to Duquesne and opens her arms for an embrace. Duquesne pauses a bit, puts down her phone, then responds gratefully. They enter into a deep hug simply for comfort. During these moments, the tension seems to seep away. They finally pull away from the hug.
How guilty should I feel for blaming him?
Neither do I.
But hey, he did a good deed. Brought us together.
We're not exactly back together.
Oh, we're more together than we've been for a hell of a long time.
No. No, you've taught me not to make too big a deal out of things.
We could grab dinner. We need sustenance. There's no more Harry show, of course, but we still got to keep up our strength. We're working actors.
Well, we're actors.
What's around here that's good?
Colpa? You still like Italian?
Of course.
Colpa reminds me of that little place we went to at 59th Bravi something.
Sono bravi.
Oh, we laughed so much there.
Oh, it's a miracle we never got kicked out.
The calamari, they had the sauce they put on it.
Creamy paprika something. I could eat a horse, could you?
And the dessert, oh my
Desserts
God.
were great, weren't they great? Oh, my
Curtain.
God.
We will love to get your questions and feedback. If anyone needs to leave, please feel free to use the door closest to the exit that way. And otherwise, we'll be happy to take questions, comments, or whatever you want to say. Anyone? Jump right in. Chris.
That was wonderful. When are you performing it as a complete production?
Thank you, and I don't know. We thought we'd base whatever happens to the show next on the feedback we get from you folks tonight, so you're sort of in charge. Yes.
How long have you been working on developing this script?
How long have we been working on developing this script? I think I can sketch out the history briefly. I first worked with Becky when she had the title role in Drowsy Chaperone here some years ago. I was so impressed with her. And then some years later, I did Saltonstall, an original piece. I think we did it in Lowell. And I met Barbara and worked with her, and I was so impressed with her. And then over the course of our friendships, they hadn't met each other ever, but each of them talked to me about how hard it was for women of a certain age to find roles in the theater, and suddenly the light bulb went on over my head, and I thought, what if I wrote a show for these two women? So I invited the two of them to lunch. This was last August. We met for lunch. I introduced them to each other, and I told them this idea. I didn't even have a story in mind. I just wanted to do a two-woman show. And they were enthusiastic, and they're such workhorses. They said, show us the script and give us the schedule. So I reorganized my professional life, and starting on New Year's Day, I devoted every Tuesday to writing the script. And on the 15th of March, I had a first draft, and my wife, Christina, read it. She said, I want to direct it. And then I showed it to them, and they liked it, and that's when we started rehearsing, and Stage 284 graciously hosted us, and here we are. Matt.
It's more appreciation than feedback. It blew me away when you were singing and when you were acting out the scene. Just the, maybe it was the addition of the body English, or those moments are even more expressive than the rest of it. I can't wait to see the show when you're up and walking around and interacting with each other, and you're even more engaged, because it's going to be incredible.
I'm glad you approve.
Well, you should say that you wrote the music and Christina wrote the word. You'll tell them.
Yeah, Christina and I wrote those two pieces of music in 1987 for a show that we put together back then. And so we hauled those pieces out of cold storage and plugged them in here.
And you should hear it when there's a accompaniment and a choral background. The first one, Lines Drawn. It's just gorgeous, the way, and you said someone harmonized it right and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really beautifully written
Thank you.
song.
Thank you. That musical back then was awful, but those two pieces of music,
They
I
always
thought
say that.
they were.
Gershwin said that, I'm sure. Cole Porter said that.
Who waved a hand here? Yes, Kristen.
This is for the two actors. With the possibility of taking this further, are you intimidated by the memorizing such a long piece?
I've only done one other staged reading. And the good thing about it, of course, is that you don't have to memorize. At my age, that's my terror, that I'll just forget all my lines. But on the other hand, as someone very astutely said, you don't have the physicality.
Yeah.
You don't have the motion. You can't really do it, you know? And so it feels a little inhibited in a way. If that makes any sense. So we look forward to hopefully doing it.
Yes, Andy.
So the point at which you were reciting the lines from Best Diffused By,
Mhm.
you kind of grabbed me by surprise. I didn't realize you were actually quoting from a previous play. Is that a real play, or is that something that you created for this?
No.
Everything you heard was created for this.
Oh,
The whole script, yeah, it's a fake play
Yeah.
okay.
that
So
she's
any
doing.
past performances that you guys in the play talk about, those are all fake plays?
They're all fake plays,
Correct.
except the one real thing was Shakespeare actually existed.
I'm glad you reminded me.
I like the character development, where they start out so competition and disliking one another, and like some hate, some past hurt was obvious, and then they reminisce, well, maybe they did like each other at one point, and the back and forth till they like each other again. I like that. I like that.
I'm glad, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. We tried to get a little character development in there.
If I could add to that comment, it's kind of a cathartic, maybe is the word I'm looking for, to when you're an aged person, you're an older person, and you watch these women talking about life experiences and the hurts and the heartache and the suffering they've been through, and yet there's this devotion and love for one another. You really do have an affinity to that, because it's really what life is about. It's about going through hurtful times and hating each other, but really loving each other. I thought that was pretty powerful.
Wonderful, I'm glad.
Repeat the comment.
Well, the whole fact of when you're going through life as a person, and you're aging and you're maturing, and you've gone through experiences where you've been hurt by somebody, and you really hate that person, but you don't really hate them, you really love them, and that's part of this whole conflict of human relationships. And it just, I thought it was cathartic for me, because, you know, going through hardships and experiences where you have these angry feelings towards people, it's okay to admit that and to, you know, look at these women performing this. It's like, oh yeah, that's really part of my life. You know? I just thought it was great. Sorry, I didn't repeat it the same way I said.
Anyone else? Yes, Katie. Is it Katie? I can't see her in the dark back there.
I'm not going to say this as eloquently as you just did, but I agree. I felt like this had such like, this could be the wrong word, but like intelligent use of structure and like the mirroring of Waiting for Godot, but what, to risk sounding like I'm insulting a classic, I don't mean that, but like, I felt like this had all the authenticity of relationships that I'm looking for in that show all the time, right? So like, the way that these relationships develop and peel back and resolve themselves, the little arguments, or whether they didn't resolve themselves, like the public school thing, which I love, the throwback, love it. They get to leave and go somewhere and are not waiting for this thing. So it was nice to have, yeah, I guess a catharsis or like a closure almost of Waiting for Godot as I know it, with authentic, heartfelt, real emotions. Like living the life is in the process, right? It's not in that stuck stasis feel.
Thank you. And as you can imagine, it's a great relief to get a good review from the artistic director of Stage 284. Anyone else want to comment or question or yes?
You know, I just kind of thought the repartee between the two of them, these gentle and not so gentle jibes they had, really personified the zigzags of life. You know, that's kind of the way it struck me.
Great. That was the idea. I'm glad you got it.
I'm not an economics major, so
I think it's essential that the audience end up liking these characters. That's the only way it tastes good at the end of the evening. So if you felt affection for the characters, then mission accomplished. Yes.
Yeah, I want to say that I think it's wonderful how you expressed the female experience, and I applaud you for being courageous to go in the mind of the feminine. I was very uncomfortable, and I wonder if you could speak to what they were so combative and so like, bitch. You know, like I looked at my son and you know, it's like, Grandma's cursing. I never heard her curse. So thank you. It's very entertaining. I'm very touched, and both of you did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
All the pantomiming, it was wonderful to experience. And if you're editing, I'm just curious, could you talk a little bit more about, you know, maybe why they were so angry at each other, and do you see like the feminine women coming, like having those kinds of experiences, because it just felt so like it didn't feel like love, and yet then you want us to feel that they loved each other.
Yeah, I think it's a really good comment, and among those who read the script before tonight, I had a little bit of pushback on the hostility level between the two. I felt like to make the play interesting, there had to be some really deep hurts and harsh responses. So I built in two factors. One is that there was a romantic component to this years ago. And the other was that they both, for different reasons, urgently need this role. So the combination of that, when they, after decades of not seeing each other, when they show up in the same place at the same time, there's an outsized response. At least that's the way I was imagining it. And of course, after tonight, I'm going to go back in and look at the script, and that's something I'll have to factor in. And also, I think when there's a full production of it and the actors are free to move around and so forth, it may take some of the edge off some of these lines where just sitting there, they're firing their bullets, but you know how people wandering around in a space while they're waiting for something to happen, they can throw a nasty line out of the side of their mouth, and it doesn't quite land the same way that some of these lines may have inevitably landed in a staged reading. That could be an elaborate rationalization on my part, but I'm going with it for the time being. Yes, Trina.
So I actually think that it worked, that you had a nice build, and some of those lines that came off as harsh in the beginning softened as it went through and became more playful. So I loved the way the humor and the drama built. And I'll also say that my two favorite moments were when you had the singing and then of course the reading, and the actors coming back in and watching. And the expressions as they were watching were so moving and powerful. I just loved it.
Great. I told you.
We didn't have a bad director either.
And to the point of things getting a little more gentle as the story went on, I find that a few martinis will do that.
Dinner theater, yeah.
Did somebody else wiggle? Yes.
Well, I'm piggybacking on her. I thought the two individual pieces, the music and the actual doing the play, were critical additions to the whole story, because for me it just invigorated the play. I was getting a little, just not bored. I enjoyed the whole thing, but it just really got me back really into it.
Especially with, I appreciate you saying that and being so forthright about that, especially as it's a staged reading. I was ready for it too. I was really ready for somebody to get up and move around, and I don't think we would feel quite that pressure in a full production where there's going to be a lot more visual stuff going on prior to those points, but you're really ready for them, I think, by the time they happen. And that's sort of it was sort of the core when I set out writing the thing. I wanted to show off these two actors having known and seen and known firsthand what they were capable of. I wanted to give Becky a moment where her voice could command the audience, and I wanted to give Barbara a killer speech. And I saw how you tuned in to those two kind of centerpieces of the story. So that was very gratifying, and they knocked it out of the park, I think. Anybody else want to make a comment, ask a question? I don't want to belabor it, but I want to give everybody an opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Leave all your money in the little basket at the door for the scholarship fund. Have a good evening. Thank you again.